doing this thing at the beginning where I think we're streaming on Facebook, streaming on Twitter, streaming on YouTube. We'll give it a moment. Well, I'm going to say a few things anyways first, so I'll do that now. Hello, I am Devin Shears. I'm the Director of Programming Communications for the Nickel Film Festival. And here we are, yet again, back in my winter chalet for some filmmaker Q&As as part of the 22nd Nickel Independent Film Festival. Big difference this year, of course, is that we are hybrid. We're in person and online. So if you're watching this right now, perhaps you were at our screening last night at the LSPU Hall. But if you weren't and you want to see the films that we played last night, they are available still. You can just head over to nickelfestival.com and find them there, I think, until 7 p.m. tomorrow night, which would be Wednesday. So so I would encourage people to go check out that program if you weren't there last night. But we had a great screening in person, and I'm really excited to talk to one of the filmmakers who couldn't make it to the theater because they're in Alberta. And so I'm going to talk to Anna Kulkin, director of Father Like Son. Anna, hello.
Hello, thanks for having me. I actually had my cousin go to the screening, and she tried to take a picture, and then her flash was on, and she's like, oh my god. But it was nice. I had somebody there, which is great.
Oh, amazing. Oh, that's great. I had no idea. Well, I'll say first off the bat, I got to see it. I'd seen it before, but getting to see it in a theater last night was great because it's a visually really gorgeous film. And maybe though, for people who are tuning in who didn't make it to last night's screening and are thinking about seeing it online, could you tell us a little bit about what the film is?
Yeah, so I had moved back home during COVID to my parents' small family farm. We have a bison farm, and so it's kind of a film where I kind of saw myself and my niece and nephew. They're kind of learning crazy, difficult things on the farm, and it was kind of like seeing the life lessons they learned that I did that kind of followed me into adulthood. So, and also just kind of shows that as small farmers, you kind of have to take off farm jobs to support the land that you live on. So it's kind of just like a very intimate look of a small family farm.
Yeah, what was it like? I think I didn't realize until last night. I just hadn't taken in the credits before that it was your own family that you were shooting. What was that experience like? Making a documentary with your own family members.
I felt like it could have went a bunch of different ways, but it definitely went the right way. I made sure I had the camera on all the time or around everybody so that I didn't get the shifty office eyes when I was filming later on. Like they were, they just got used to it. And then they also were very much really into it, being messaging me what they were going to be doing just to make sure that I was there if I didn't want to miss something. So it was very collaborative at the end of it. And my dad also was just meant for the screen. I feel like he should have done drama or something. He should have done something in the arts in that way, because he's definitely he's not shy in front of the camera.
Well, your father for sure, but also I found was it your niece who's the young girl in the film? Yeah, she was also especially she really lit up on camera as well. What was it like working with her?
It was good. She's a very shy little girl.
Interesting. Yeah.
Kind of actually helped a little bit with that. I was also very shy as a kid too. So, but it's funny because they're also very quiet. So I couldn't really read them. And then my brother would be like, oh my God, they're so excited to film today. And I'm like, really? I can't really tell. I feel like I'm scaring them, but but they were very, very much.
How long of a period did you shoot for this documentary?
Yeah, I think it was October to end of May.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So a lot. Yeah. One thing you sort of mentioned when you were introducing, when you're describing the film, that to be a farmer you have to take sort of these other kinds of work. And I thought that was interesting. I thought one of the big themes I was getting from the film was this sort of balance between more traditional way of life and industrialization, because you kind of have this long segment at the beginning of you know turning bison, I suppose, was it? Yes,
Yeah.
into meat and other other things, and then of course all this stuff about the oil industry. And I guess my question is, where do you is that we get some of it in the film, but has that been a challenging balance for your family, like having to sort of bring in these like more modern industrialization methods to earn a living?
Yeah,
Yeah.
quite a bit. Like my grandparents first had the farm before my dad took over, and before it was like a dairy farm and stuff. But because of um, inflation, because of all these different things, they couldn't, because they were a small farm, they couldn't keep up with quota when it came to the big industrial farms, right? So it meant that they had to take off farm jobs. They had to do different things to even just keep the land that they want to stay on. And they've almost lost the land multiple times because of how our systems are set up it's really to make small farmers fail. Basically, it's like the go big, go home model that is quite sad and devastating, and it's still bad today. And so, yeah, and it's interesting because, farmers have to take jobs that are very much kind of like, kind of the opposite of stewardship.
Sure. Yeah.
But that's what's close by. It's like that or move away. It's like the oil field, the lumber industry, those types of things are close to where, at least where we live. So they've kind of had to make it work that, they have to take these jobs just so that they can like keep that little piece of paradise.
Right. And it's just still, and maintains, like, because the like that whole opening sequence with the bison feel like, it feels like very it's the word I'm looking for. Like I want to say holistic, that's not quite right. But it feels like a very kind of natural thing. But it's also very unflinching the way that you shoot it. It is pretty, people who perhaps are not used to seeing that kind of stuff was that something you were thinking about when you were shooting that stuff? Like, like I just want to like get this out there and just show what it's like.
Yeah, like there could have been I could have shown the whole thing, but
Right. Yeah. I mean, I guess like, yeah, it isn't. Yeah, I should say it isn't like tons of viscera or anything, but it is. It's pretty.
it's,
It's pretty matter of fact. Yeah.
we're definitely like, as a society, we're definitely quite distant from that part of where our meat comes from and stuff like that, and so I didn't think I needed to show it in its whole, because our brains can just make it up on our own, like we know what happened.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like it was this gruesome thing or whatever. Like, animal lived a really great life. It didn't know it was gonna be butchered. It's not like go to those big farms and they get pressed into these pens and they're stressed out. It's a lot more beautiful in that way. And I think that's the great part about these kids seeing this, is because, they have that respect of where their food comes from, and
Yeah.
what the animal's life was like beforehand. And so, and it's so different. And, there's a lot of people that still argue with me on that, but because it is a life being taken, and we do, and it is a sad thing. Like we all cried, before we, like Kayla wasn't the only one crying, but that's the person I filmed, but we were all upset. Like we don't, my dad doesn't like that he has to kill the animals that he raises, but it's also, I think it's better that we eat the food that we raise.
Yeah, and I think that respect for the process and for the life that was given for it, I think really comes through in the film. A couple more questions. I was looking at I was just looking at the submission page for your film just before this, just because I was like, taking notes for questions. And one thing I noticed that I thought was really interesting was that you kind of specifically name drop Agnes Varda as one of your big influences. And I would just love to just hear what about Agnes Varda's work speaks to you, and specifically, like if you were thinking about any of her work in this film in particular.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. It was funny, like when I first got into film, people were like, "Who's your favorite filmmaker?" And I was like, "Well, my favorite film is Wayne's World." But then,
hey, I mean, great film. Let's look. Yeah.
Like, as director, Penelope Sears, like she's amazing.
Yeah.
But
Decline of
also,
Western Civilization, great film.
exactly.
Yeah.
And so but then later on, I was really introduced to Agnes Varda, and I just fell in love just with her curiosity and because what was it? Was the dog the Gleaners and I?
Yeah.
It started out with like a simple curiosity, and then it just turned into this big thing. She had a clock without hands, and she didn't like seeing time passing, and it's just like she turned something that could have been very like informative and like she could thrown out so many numbers and statistics and all this stuff. And instead, she made it very human and poetic. And she's filmed it with a DV camera, and she had her hands in it sometimes, and then like the lens cap would flop around, and it's like, but it was still successful and it was still beautiful and people loved it. So I respected it in that much that, she did her curiosities well.
Yeah, and she had such an appreciation for like simple things. Because I like definitely thought of Gleaners and I with your film, and well, especially after reading that comment, but also Daguerreotypes, another film that has this sort of matter of fact look at life, and that I think that your film does really successfully as well. So and it was great to see it in a theater last night. So I hope even if people missed that they go check it out online while it's still available. Just wrapping up, working on anything right now, taking a break. How are things over? More documentaries with your family, I hope. make it a series.
Always. It's funny because like the littles, I kind of want to keep filming them as they grow up, and so that's definitely in the back of my mind. I'm very much like write what you know, and what I know is agriculture and land stewardship and the environment and farmers and stuff. So I've been really trying to hone in on that. So I've been working on a trying to get the docuseries going called Women Who Dig. It's based off a book about women farmers, farming feminism and the fight to feed the world. And it's kind of like looking at different women in my own backyard in Alberta and Manitoba and like here before, branching out. So working with the author for that. And then I'm also currently working on a queer history doc here in Edmonton. So.
Oh, wow. That sounds really exciting. I guess that's actually one thing we didn't really talk about was just that there is some of there's obviously some implications around gender, like the fact that the film is called Father Like Son, but obviously a big focus of it is on one of your nieces. Was that something you were conscious of while making the film?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I kind of wanted that like people to kind of question the title and how it wasn't quite the title in a sense. You follow Kayla, but you can kind of see that Jacob is like kind of my brother, and my brother is my dad. But then the focus is on like Kayla. It's quite interesting.
It is. It's a very, very rich film. That's like simple in its presentation because you're kind of just showing processes, agricultural processes with some interviews and perspectives from your family. But I think it's a very, very rich film, really, really interesting. And I really want to thank you for speaking with me today and sharing your film with us.
Yeah, thank you so much. I wish I was over there. I do miss Newfoundland and miss St. John's and the beautiful chalet in which you were at.
Yes, my beautiful winter chalet. Yeah, well, we really appreciate you speaking with us today. And that's all the interviews we have today. I think for future live streams, we're going to have throughout the week, we'll have more filmmakers to speak with, both from here and abroad. So if people want to tune in every day at 11 a.m. I should quickly mention what we have on the go tonight. So at 5 p.m. at the LSPU Hall, we're doing the live readings of our March Screenplay Challenge. We're going to be doing that every day at 5 p.m. from today until Thursday. Then following that, we have 2 screenings at the hall. The first is at 7 p.m. And that has the films The Stranger's Case, Mr. Ashley Lived Here, I Am the Warrior, Random Thoughts by local filmmaker Stephen Bonnell. Third, Spin by Andrea Cass, Wine. And then our 9:30 p.m. screening, also at the hall, has Beat Sits in the Bathroom in Silence, Brigitte, I'm Fine, Let's Do This Again Sometime, Last Rites, There's a Scratch on the Inside of My Right Knee, In Darkness, The Statue, 1 and 3, Switch, and Dirty Donna and the Penis Paintings, which of course, who doesn't want to see that? Yes, all of that is available at pay what you can cost at the hall if you want to come down. But if you want to stay at home, it will be available at the same time online. So yeah, I think that's everything. Elling Leing, our executive director, has been hiding in the shadows. Anything I'm forgetting, Elling?
Nope, not
Great.
at all. No. Thanks for sharing your movie with us. It was really lovely to see, and I recommend that everybody watching this now watches it online. You have until tomorrow evening.
Yes. So thank you all for joining us today. Thank you, Anna, and we'll see y'all at the hall and online here again tomorrow. Bye-bye.
See you guys. Have a great day.
You too.